it looked like it got a little bit more serious. Like it got a little bit more intense because now there was this element of discipline added to ACBA, which, we're both musicians. I understand that there is a level of discipline required in true art. People always see the fun side. What would you say like are the biggest elements of the disciplinary side of ACBA, or the more like complex elements of it that really make it stand out?
Well, again, it's just about that, the triple C's of ACBA, as we call it. So if you want to set up something, it needs to be clean, cropped, and contained. These are some of the same rules that we have in the group. You can't post a picture of a figure on your kitchen sink or on the ground if it's not the proper perspective. If it's not the proper perspective, if you're doing like a Ant-Man sort of thing or something like that, that's the only time that would be okay. So anything that you do has to be within that little miniature environment for those figures. Again, it's like a little miniature production. So you're going to stage it, you're going to light it, you're going to, think of some idea in your mind, and you're going to tell that story without saying any words. Maybe you'll have some words as far as the cutouts go, but you are going to put together a little miniature 3D comic book of some sort, basically. So, and it's not even just comic characters. The style of ACBA and having a clean, cropped, and contained display is not only, it's not just for comic book characters, basically. I mean, it spans everything. So it's anime, it's manga, it's movies, it's cartoons, television shows, whatever you can do, as long as it's within that style of, like you said, that discipline, basically, that goes along with ACBA. And again, the major thing about the essence of this type of displaying is that we pride ourselves on doing it 100% tangibly. Now, as things have progressed in the group these days, there's a lot of people that come on the group and they post pictures and they use Photoshop and photo edits and stuff like that. And that's not something that's against the rules in the group. We allow people to express themselves in whatever way they see fit, as long as, again, that the scene is contained. But for the true essence of ACBA and how we move forward with conducting our tournaments and little contests and stuff like that, you've got to get it done tangibly. And the push to do that has continuously raised the bar on displaying. It has continuously made people step their game up. I use the analogy sometime of all the people that are in the group, they're Goku. Everybody's Goku. No matter what tier you reach, you still trying to power up and level up again, no matter what. Goku's never satisfied. He's always fighting, always trying to get strong, always trying to up his game. That's ACBA, basically. That's what it is. Wow. At its core. So like,
that just reminds me again of music. I have my old music teacher. He said the day that you feel like it's time for you to stop practicing is the day you quit.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, and that's basically what the ACBA Facebook group is a training ground. It's literally there for you to spar with other people all over the world, share tips and tricks and tactics, and act as a sponge and use that, absorb that information, and just get better and just continuously up your game in every aspect. And the other good thing about the group initially, and now still to this day, is that it brought so many different type of artists together into one place. There were people that were traditional photographers that just got into figures because they said, you know what, I take pictures of cool stuff. Why not take pictures of toys? I could do that. There are people that collect that never picked up a camera professionally, but they said, you know what, there's some photographers here. I could learn something from them. I could learn how to photograph my figures. There was sketch artists. There was painters. There was all of these different people that only had the skill set to like build dioramas, like Ogun. Like he was probably one of the most phenomenal builders that I've ever seen. He didn't really have the best display chops, but he is the person that kickstarted all of these other diorama builders. That's why we have a sister group called Dial Structure, where all day long they just build dioramas, and artists, display artists, go into that group and commission guys to get dioramas for their displays. And it's like this symbiotic relationship within the display community right now, and it's crazy, and it has far surpassed anything that I could have imagined, and it has expanded outward from Facebook now onto Instagram and onto TikTok and onto all these other platforms. And again, getting back to the to the core point, all of this shit ballooned out from us fools on YouTube, 10, 12 years ago or something like that, just kicking it, shooting the shit between us and just having a good time and just envisioning where display art could go or where toy photography could go. And now we can't even contain it anymore. It is its own beast at this particular point,
One thing that I always wish had taken off that didn't take off was the 360 display. I was the only one to ever do that, and nobody else even tried afterwards. But I think around that time, things were switching to Facebook.
What contest was that?
Huh?
What contest was that?
Oh, geez. I think it was your contest, right?
Was
I think you were hosting it. But I remember that video got a lot of views, and I had basically I had gotten a leaf out of the middle table and elevated the table up, and then set up a whole display in the table, and then put the camera on a tripod and spun it around and played Ming's punk rock.
But that type of energy is the energy that we on every single day in the display community. It's like, what can I do to top myself? What can I do to top this person? And it's like, it's not malicious though. It's a very friendly sort of competition and environment,
Right. Yeah. But people will, for anybody going on, just expect constructive criticism. That's like, that's the thing. That's the thing, and that could be tough, man. That's one thing always relating it back to music because it's another art form. But like my wife is like, have you ever played music with somebody that didn't want to play with you? I was like, oh yeah. There's people that don't want to play music with you. Like there's some people that just don't feel your vibe and they don't want to play with you. Then you just gotta just admit that it's not something that'll work. Or someone could give you a constructive criticism and kind of like you'll feel down at first when you hear it, maybe because you thought you did something great. Someone will say, it's not as great as you thought. The stand is showing or something like that, And
that's the thing too. It's like, go ahead.
You have to build a certain level of thick skin to put yourself out there in general, but you're putting yourself out there amongst people that want you to do better, and they're going to say things to help push you in the direction that you want to go.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's an awesome thing about it. And I think that is a big part of how it's done so well. And bring back to what we were talking about earlier about how ACBA has gotten recognition from Hasbro and other companies. I was at the Mezco booth at Toy Fair, and it was like ACBA images on the TV, like just getting thrown, like all these images of ACBA. I'm like, whoa, look at that. Yeah. That is crazy. It's in their booth, and they had a big screen showing all these images, and they're crediting all the artists and everything. But I was like, wow, this is nuts. This is just like commonplace now. ACBA or Hasbro even had that one Comic-Con. They actually like went full on Boognice10 with the presentation. Like they even had like some kind of, they had a song that reminded me of your theme song. You know what I mean? It was like a high energy rap song with all the images going. I was like, oh, are they really trying to this is crazy. I couldn't believe it.
You know what? It's again, like what we've done in terms of just popularizing displaying has made them change their marketing strategy and made them change everything about how they try to sell figures right now. Like they use a lot of toy photographers in these campaigns. Hasbro does too. They send out product early to some of these toy photographers on Instagram, and they run ads through their toy photography, basically. So I mean, this is this is where we at right now. And again, like you said, this is what ACBA brought to the forefront, basically. Um, you reminded me about something else. Oh yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of companies are doing a lot of toy photography contests on their platforms too, as well, on Instagram, on their websites, or whatever. It's always show us your toy photography. Show us, you know, they're not going to say show us your ACB, some of these companies, but that's
Right.
basically what it boils down to. You know, again, we started doing contests almost 10, 12 years ago on YouTube, just 100 subscribers contest, but it was a display contest, you know, and it was something that was free marketing and promotion for the companies at that time. It took them a while to catch on to the fact that, you know what these guys are doing is actually helping us sell product. It took them a little while to figure it out, but they got it. They know now for certain. They know for certain. And that's why they are also intertwined with reviewers like yourself. That's why certain people get a lot of gratis and get all of this free product and everything like that. That's where this comes from. Again, it's this one symbiotic relationship after another on every level of this thing right now. You know.
Yeah, neither of us have ever had to buy an action figure in the last 7 years, right? Like neither of us have had to spend any money on action figures,
no.
right?
Right.
It's all.
I still bought a lot of freaking figures though. That's for sure.
Oh, I spent a lot on these ones. I spent a lot on. I mean, come on. Anybody talking about the vintage collection wave, I'm fairly certain paid considerably more than retail price on them.
No question.
I mean,
Definitely.
if you see anybody get anything early, it wasn't free from Hasbro. It came at a cost.
Got a
I
call.
only bring that up because I had somebody in person, not the Mexico City unboxing toy convention that we were at, but this
Mm-hmm.
dude at the first one I was at a couple years before that. You know, he was asking me like, he's like, so like you just get all your figures straight from Hasbro, right? That's how you get them early. And I was like, I pay a little bit more to get them early, and they don't come from Hasbro if I get them early. I'm like, nah. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, nah, that like right, like true, like I'm like, nah. And I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
there
no,
are
I'm
some
not
there
getting
are
them for
some
free like that.
yeah,
It's
there's some situations where, you know, we get some gratis for sure, but like I know how much I spend per year out of my own pocket on figures, so it's a
right.
lot of money.
Yeah, my wife knows too, and I get plenty of shit for it also. She's like, you know how much more money we would have if you didn't buy all these figures? Great. So now I get it on both ends. But anyway, enough of my crying. I want to know what kind of. I honestly think that like what you're saying with the social media platforms and everything. How would you say, like, if you could say specifically how the industry has changed for the better because of groups like ACBA and reviewers and all kinds of other channels and personalities out there. Like, what kind of like grand effects would you say that you've seen because of people being able to get their voice out there and talk about this stuff?
Well, there's a direct pipeline between the average like collector. Um, it's like a snake. The head of the snake is the company, but you know the influencer somewhere in the middle, the body part or something like that. I guess the regular average collector is the tail, and it's kind of all just working in tandem. Like, you know, the average collector gets to voice their opinion to us, and we get to tell that to the companies, and it's a pretty um, at this particular point, I think it's a pretty um, it's a good system. It's a really good system. But to answer your question, I lost my train of thought for a second. But to answer your question about how things have changed,
Mm-hmm.
um, we have the ear of the toy companies at this particular point. They are 100% receptive and open and willing to hear what the consumers want.
Right.
And they see it every day. They see what we what we desire and other things that we need to continue to make our art in every way, shape, or form. That art could be actual articulated comic book art. It could be a review. It could be whatever it is. They see what the needs are out there, and they basically have had their ears to the street, so to speak, for the past like 5, 6, 7 years. Before, they were just doing their own thing, and it didn't really matter what we thought or what was going on. They were just making product. Now they realize our power basically at this particular point. I think they've come to recognize that like everybody's Goku. They got to give
Right.
it up,
Yeah.
you know.
Everybody's
So
serious. And it's awesome to see that. Like, I think the outrage. I remember specifically the first time I met Dwight at Comic-Con, and I don't know if you remember seeing that old video, but I remember being so upset with Marvel Legends at that time. I just met him and I just I just verbally laid into
yeah, we were
him.
pretty fucking awful back in those days. Like we had no tact, no like professionalism, no nothing.
No, it was like we had grievances and they needed to be, they needed to be rectified. And it was like it was like they'd, like someone had, kicked through my coffee table or something, that kind of outrage. Like I remember taking it so personally then, and it took a little while for me to learn, like, oh, these are people working on a thing, like that you can talk to them like normal people there, and there is a stigma that comes with earning money of your passion. There, people get upset over that. There's kind of like this thing going on where, hey, I love Spider-Man, and if I'm spending money on Spider-Man, you're profiting off of my joy.
Mm.
If you're going to profit off of my joy, you better do it right.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing that I really wanted to address also was that there is I feel like there's like a strong sense of unity with all this. We're able to understand the people who make the figures, the people that make the figures have understood us better. And I think as people, we've grown to understand each other a whole lot better with this kind of community. There's no other way I would become friends with a black dude on the other side of the country. Like, that's just not, and I'm here in the very Caucasian suburbs over here outside of San Francisco. You know what I mean? How else would we be able to sync up?
That reminds me too. I think that was another big part of the Marvel Legends community, the ACBA community, was that that was like one of the comments that I got like the most after, because that first video that I put up, it was just sound. I didn't talk. I didn't talk maybe like 5 or 6 videos in or something like that. And like people were like, "You're black?" Like no, like that. That right there. Because the nerd culture seemed like it was only fat white guys in the nerd culture or something. That was the stereotypical nerd. Like, we kind of broke those molds and broke those stereotypes to say, no, black people collect toys and comic books and stuff too. And I can remember getting a lot of other like messages and stuff from other black collectors to be like, yo, I thought I was like the only one. Like, yo, this is great. It's a great, so again, getting back to that kind of community and like, I think that the internet has been good with that. We're kind of breaking the stereotype of what a nerd is, or a comic book collector is, and stuff like that. And another thing too, to touch on what you were talking about with our relationship with the toy companies and stuff like that, it actually works how government should be working. Like they are like our like elected officials, but they actually fucking listen to us and actually get shit done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the toy community is literally like how government should be working basically right now, and it's working very well. It's a well-oiled machine right now, and we getting shit that we want and need. And like when shit doesn't go our way, we could easily like say like, nah, like I'm not buying that, or I'm not fucking with that, or whatever it is. Like, you know what I mean? So
Wow,
yeah.
I never looked at it that way. We're almost like people like you and me that are out there kind of representing a lot of the fans. We're almost like Congress.
Yeah, we like
over here.
senators or some shit.
Yeah,
You
we're
know?
like senators, and then you have like the main big federal government and everything is out there. I wanted to make a point to just say this publicly, that you and I had talked about doing this interview long before the death of George Floyd, and this isn't some kind of I'm not trying to use your race or anything as clickbait or anything like that. I'm sure someone's thinking that, and I just wanted to just put that out there, that this isn't, this is something that we've been talking about for a long time, and it's just a lot of text messages going back and forth, and busy lives and kids and everything going on.
No doubt. I mean, just put it out there to the viewers and stuff like that. Like, yo, me and Russ been actual friends for over 10 years right now. So like, we talk often, like not about toys, like about real life shit, like, so we speak pretty often. So
Right.
Yeah, but yeah.
So yeah, that's like that was actually a thing I was kind of scared about getting us into this interview, that we would kind of, because a lot of the time we talk about a lot of real shit, and I didn't want that to be like like a big thing. But it's like the current movement going on right now. It's actually, I'm happy to see a lot of people jumping on board with it and everything. At the same time, it makes me really sad, because it's like, wait, you had to watch a whole video where there was absolutely no way to explain around it to actually believe black people. You know what I mean? It took that level of eyes on the whole entire transgression to actually have to believe what people have been saying for decades.
Right. And I mean, we still got a long way to go as far as that's concerned, because again, like, the toy community is working better than government right now. So like, we still gotta get we
so
still
if we
gotta
can get
get
that,
our Congress and senators to work for us and do the right thing,
right. But so hopefully those, that kind of fluidity will happen a little bit better now. It seems like, like everybody's really charged about it and everything. So
yeah.
So it's good to at least see that part of it, and we'll hopefully see some bigger change and everything. But it's been just the whole experience, and not even, I mean, like, it's how, like, as a planet, like as a, like, in the collecting community around the whole world, we're able to connect on this thing, and it's just, I mean, thanks to the technology that we've been able to do that. And it's just, I think it's amazing. I mean, dude, like, we were in Mexico City together, and people like knew who we were and stuff. And it's just,
Right.
Yep. It's just been like, I think we are very lucky to be able to exist with this technology that's with us right now. And I think that's why we've been able to actually have an influence on the progression of the toy industry. It's gotten, I mean, look, it's easy. It was easy for many years to think back on the Toy Biz days as a golden age of Marvel Legends, but we are past that now.
Yeah, way
I mean,
past
we are
that.
truly, I mean, dude, like, this freaking figure, man. I mean, wow. I'm working on my review, and I'm just like giddy as hell over this thing. I haven't finished watching.
You put up Gwen Stacy earlier. I'm gonna actually put up Gwen Stacy in a little while too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, this wave so far, I haven't opened everything yet. I only opened 3 so far, but I'm really pleased with the Spider-Man figure for sure.
Yeah. I'll check out. I started watching your review, and I have this thing going where I try not to watch reviews at all until I actually finish my review.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've watched a couple since I put it out, other people's reviews too. But yeah, if I haven't reviewed it and I plan on reviewing it, then I don't watch it until after,
Right. All right, man. Well, my kids are getting restless. I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. If you aren't subscribed to Boognice10, subscribe to his YouTube channel. Link in the description below. The ACBA group pages are always in the description of all my videos, so you can always find it over there.
Oh,
And
let me put in one more thing because
sure.
we are actually doing something right now. I guess by the time you get this edited and get it up, we will have officially launched this sort of initiative. But for the past 10 years or so, we've had the ACBA Facebook group, which has been like a training ground for displaying and for learning how to display and how to light and all of that stuff. For maybe like half of that time, we've had the dial structure group, and maybe for like a quarter of the time, we've had a group called Plastic and Paint. And more recently, we just started another group called ACBA to Grind. And we're about to actually merge all of our groups and really kind of brand them all under the ACBA umbrella. And the Grind is going to be a place where we're going to actually take on like a mentor tutor kind of deal there, and really like try to bring up some younger artists and help them on a more intimate level, basically. So I'll pass along the links for everything for you in the description. But we are really about to make a push to really consolidate our power here, I guess. And we're about to move forward with new tournaments. Summer Shots is about to start. We'll be wrapping up the year with the ACBA World Tournament. So yeah, we just trying to get back on track on that side of things as far as like competitive displaying goes. So
That is awesome. That's actually kind of like what I was already. If you guys haven't noticed, like in my thumbnails and a lot of my pics, I've been kind of using with different color gradients and stuff like
yes,
that. That was a matter of we were like, how do you get the tissue paper to work? I can't do it. And just holding my hand through it and just
of poster paper, so you could change up your backdrops too, so you don't got to rely on just the tissue paper. But yeah, Russ is using a tactic, a very like poor man's way of doing it though, but it's efficient though. Like, you know, that's another thing too. You don't need to be rich to be a good display artist. Like, you know, you can do things in a very practical, cool way with a little bit of money too. So, you know, it's definitely possible. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man. Real
right.
talk soon.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you
man.
so much. And I'll catch you guys later.
All right, peace.
Peace.
That's crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face.